Welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive. This time, we're going to be exploring something pretty cool.
Yeah, some really, really fascinating stuff, I think.
We're talking about fairy tales.
Yeah. Fairy tale.
But not just like reading them, before bed.
No, not the typical fairy tale stuff.
This is going to be a deep dive into the real locations that inspired some of the most famous Grimm fairy tales.
Yeah, those classic stories like
Snow White and
Snow White
and Rapunzel.
Rapunzel, of course.
Sleeping Beauty.
Oh, yeah.
Sleeping Beauty's a good one.
Hansel and Gretel and...
Oh, can't forget about Hansel and Gretel.
Little Red Riding Hood. And...
Yep, Little Red Riding Hood.
And even Puss in Boots.
Oh, yeah, Puss in Boots. That's an interesting one.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So if you've ever wondered, if these places could actually exist, well... Get ready to have your mind blown because...
Oh, yeah, get ready. We're about to take you on a journey to discover the real-life spots in Germany that are believed to be the inspiration behind these beloved tales.
It's going to be a fun one.
Okay,
Yeah.
So let's start with kind of a home base for the Grimms.
Okay, sure, yeah.
The city of Kassel.
Castle. Yes, very important place.
Now, I know the brothers lived there,
Mm-hmm.
but did any of the stories actually take place there?
So, Castle itself doesn't really show up all that much in the stories, but the surrounding areas, they were hugely influential.
Really? So what is it about those surrounding areas that, sparked their imagination?
Just picture it. Okay.
Fact.
You've got these massive old forests.
Okay.
Like the Reinhardswald. It's dense. It's got these ancient trees, mysterious clearings. And it's actually thought to be like the inspiration for the setting of Sleeping Beauty.
Sleeping Beauty. In that forest.
Oh, yeah. That forest totally has those Sleeping Beauty vibes.
I mean, I can see it. Like a princess in a hidden castle,
Mm-hmm.
all lost in slumber, waiting for her true love's kiss.
It's all there. It's all there.
And speaking of castles,
Yeah.
isn't there a castle that people say
Yes.
is the Sleeping Beauty castle?
There is. It's called Sababurg Castle.
Sababurg Castle.
It's nestled right in the heart of that Reinhardswald forest.
Oh, wow.
And it has everything.
Yeah.
Romantic towers, overgrown walls, even a thorny rose garden.
Oh, a thorny rose garden.
Yeah, it's like straight out of the fairy tale.
Come on, you're making this too easy.
I know, right?
So besides just the look of it,
Mm-hmm.
is there anything else that connects this castle to the story of Sleeping Beauty?
Well, one thing that's kind of interesting is, how Sleeping Beauty's castle was like hidden away and forgotten?
Yeah.
Well, Sababurg was actually abandoned for a while.
Really?
Yeah, it fell into disrepair, and then later on, it was restored.
Wow.
And now it's a hotel.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So it really did go through this sleeping period.
It's like the castle was sleeping too.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So besides Castle and its surrounding forests, where else did the Grimm brothers find inspiration for their tales?
Well, let's go back in time a little bit.
Okay.
To the Grimm brothers' childhood home.
Oh, okay.
The town of Steinau an der Straße.
Steinau an der Straße.
It's a real charming medieval town.
I bet growing up in a place like that
Right.
must have had a big impact on their storytelling.
Oh, absolutely. Imagine it. Half-timbered houses, cobblestone streets, just steeped in folklore and history.
Yeah.
It's the perfect breeding ground for a young imagination.
For sure.
So you can really see how
Yeah.
that environment, would shape the kind of stories they would tell later on.
So what kind of stories do you think?
Well, think about tales like
Yeah.
Hans and Luck.
Okay.
It's all about, simple villages and journeys, and that's Steinau an der Straße in a nutshell.
It makes total sense.
Yeah.
That their childhood surroundings,
Totally.
laid the foundation for their later work.
Mm.
Speaking of foundations, let's talk towers.
Oh, all right. Towers.
I understand we're heading to Trendelberg Castle next.
Yes, Trendelberg.
And I've heard it's got a pretty impressive tower.
It's not just impressive, it's iconic.
Oh, okay.
This tower is over 40 meters high
Whoa.
with these crazy thick stone walls.
Oh, wow. So I'm guessing
Mm-hmm.
that's why people connect Trendelberg to
Yeah,
the story of Rapunzel.
you got it.
Okay.
It's hard not to see the resemblance, right? I mean,
Mhm.
those thick walls, the sheer height of it.
Yeah.
It's like stepping right into the pages of a fairy tale.
I mean, imagine trying to climb that thing
Oh, I know.
to rescue a princess.
That's a workout.
Yeah, it'd be a challenge.
Definitely a challenge.
Even for the most, determined prince.
Oh, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Okay, so we've seen how towers and castles can play a part in these stories. But what about forests?
Oh, yeah. Forests.
I mean, we talked about the Reinhardswald,
Right.
Sleeping Beauty,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm curious about other tales,
Okay, yeah.
set among the trees.
Well, forests are, they're like super symbolic in these stories.
Really?
Oh, yeah. They often represent like the unknown,
Uh-huh.
a place of wonder, but also like danger.
Okay. Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, think about Hansel and Gretel.
Okay.
That dark, mysterious forest
Rah!
where they encounter, the gingerbread house.
Yeah.
And that wicked witch.
Right. And that makes me think of another forest-heavy tale.
Oh, yeah. Which one?
Little Red Riding Hood.
Ah, yes. Little Red Riding Hood.
Is there a connection there
Oh, definitely.
to a real German forest?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. We can't talk about Little Red Riding Hood without mentioning the Rotkäppchenland.
The what?
The Rotkäppchenland,
Okay.
which basically means Little Red Riding Hood land.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
a real place.
It's a real region in Germany,
Wow.
known for these quaint little villages and rolling hills, and of course,
Forests.
forests. Lots of forests.
Okay, I have to ask,
Yeah.
is that where they came up with the red hood?
It really is.
No way.
So the traditional dress for women in this region actually included a distinctive red hood.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, so some people believe that, that headwear
Uh-huh.
might have inspired
Wow.
the fairy tale character's iconic look.
So it's not just the forest setting,
Nope.
but also like the fashion
Exactly.
that might have contributed to the story.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
I wonder if the Grimms ever visited this region.
It's certainly possible.
Yeah.
I mean, we know they traveled extensively throughout Germany,
Right.
collecting stories and folklore, so it's
Yeah.
easy to imagine them, being inspired by
Yeah.
the sights and sounds of...
Of Rotkäppchenland.
Yeah, exactly.
And you mentioned earlier how forests, they can represent both wonder
Mm-hmm.
and danger in fairy tales.
Yeah.
That really comes through in Little Red Riding Hood.
It does.
I mean, it's a story that's both charming,
Yeah.
but also cautionary.
Exactly. It reminds us that, even in these beautiful, seemingly safe places, there can be hidden dangers, which is, I think,
Right.
a message that's still relevant today.
It's interesting how these tales,
Yeah.
which we often associate with childhood,
Right?
they can offer these like profound insights.
Yeah, they really can.
I'm starting to see how they've managed to resonate with people
Mm-hmm.
for centuries.
Yeah, for sure.
Speaking of insights, earlier we were discussing how the Grimm's personal lives
Mm-hmm.
might have influenced their stories.
Right.
Is there another example of this?
Oh, there's definitely a really interesting one.
Okay.
Let's travel to the city of Marburg.
Okay.
This is where the Grimm brothers studied.
Uh-huh.
It was a real bustling university town.
Okay.
And as you can imagine, a complex social hierarchy.
Ah. So maybe we'll find a connection to a story
Yeah.
about ambition
Oh, okay.
or social climbing.
You're on the right track.
Okay.
While there's no, direct evidence,
Yeah.
some believe that Marburg might have subtly influenced the story of
Oh, wow. Okay.
Puss in Boots.
Puss in Boots.
Yeah, Puss in Boots.
That's a surprising connection.
It is a little bit of an unexpected one.
Yeah, what makes people think that?
Well, think about the themes of Puss in Boots.
Okay.
You've got social climbing, outsmarting those in power,
Yeah.
using your wit and cunning to achieve your goals.
Mhm.
I mean, those themes could totally reflect
Yeah.
the brothers' experiences, navigating the
Yeah.
social complexities of university life.
Right.
They might have seen firsthand how cleverness and ambition
Yeah.
could help someone, rise above their station.
It's a reminder that even though these tales
Yeah.
are set in these fantastical worlds,
Right.
they're often rooted in
Yeah.
very real human experiences. And those experiences can be surprisingly universal,
Mm,
even across centuries.
totally, totally.
Yeah, it really makes you think about how those stories came to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like what other real-life experiences maybe snuck their way in
Right.
to those famous tales.
I think that's what makes them so great. They
Yeah.
work on so many different levels.
Uh-huh.
On the surface, yeah, they're these fantastical adventures.
Right.
But underneath,
Yeah.
there are all these layers of meaning.
Right. It's like
Mhm.
with every location we explore,
Yeah,
we're kind of like peeling back those layers a little bit.
exactly. You get a little bit closer to
Yeah.
understanding what's at the heart of these stories.
And speaking of things at the heart of these stories,
Yeah.
earlier you were talking about how,
Mm-hmm.
the forests can be seen as symbols
Right.
in these tales.
Yeah.
Are there other elements like that?
Oh, tons of them.
Okay, what kind of...
Think about Snow White.
Oh, okay.
That poisoned apple,
Yeah.
it's not just a plot device, right?
Right.
It can be seen as a symbol of, like, temptation
Well,
and deceit.
So it's not really about the apple,
No.
but about the danger
Yeah.
of being tempted by something that looks good,
Right. Exactly.
but is actually harmful.
It's all about those deeper meanings, those symbols.
Yeah, and I mean, Snow White herself,
Yeah.
she can be seen as a symbol
Absolutely.
of innocence and purity,
Uh-huh.
while the evil queen, she's like
Oh, yeah. She's like
opposite.
total opposite.
Jealousy and vanity.
Yeah, those classic fairy tale themes.
And those themes are just so timeless and relatable.
Yeah, that's why they still resonate, right?
Exactly.
Even after all these years.
It's no wonder that these stories have stayed with us for so long.
They're powerful stuff.
They are. We've talked so much about the real-world inspirations
Mm-hmm.
behind these tales.
Yeah.
But what about the Grimms themselves?
Oh, the brothers.
Yeah, we think their lasting impact has been.
Oh, it's massive. It's immeasurable, really. I mean, they
Mhm.
didn't just collect these stories.
Right.
They, like, preserved a vital part
Mm-hmm.
of German culture and folklore.
Yeah, and thanks to their work,
Right.
these stories have been shared
Yeah.
all over the world.
It's amazing.
I mean, imagine these tales that maybe
yeah.
started around a fire
Mm-hmm.
in some little German village
Small village somewhere, yeah.
are now known and loved globally.
It's amazing how far they've traveled.
It is. It really speaks to the
Uh-huh.
power
Mm-hmm.
of storytelling.
Yeah, and to those enduring themes, you know?
Yeah.
Love, loss, courage, betrayal. It's all there.
They transcend time
Totally.
and culture.
Yeah, they're human experiences we can all relate to.
Well, I feel like we've been on quite the journey
Yeah, we have.
with this deep dive.
Yeah. From castles
From castles
to forests
to-
to forests
to childhood homes to, what was it?
bustling university towns.
Bustling university towns.
Yeah, it's been quite the adventure.
It has. And, we've uncovered
Mm-hmm.
all the magic and the mystery
Yeah.
behind some of these tales.
Yeah, it's like we've brought them to life a little bit.
We have. And, maybe this deep dive
Yeah.
will inspire you to see
Mm-hmm.
the world around you
Yeah,
with a little more enchantment.
I like that.
Because, after all, who's to say
Mm-hmm.
that fairy tales aren't still being written,
Ooh, I like that.
even today,
Yeah.
in the places we live
Mm-hmm.
and the stories that we tell?
That's a great way to put it.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Oh, it was my pleasure.